people who may not think much about architecture beyond buildings, why should they care about it? And how does architects shape our daily lives in ways we don't notice?
Yeah, well, I mean, I would say everybody actually does care about architecture.
Yeah.
I just think it's maybe not necessarily top of mind in the way that would be obvious.
Yeah.
And that kind of leads my answer to the second part of that question. I mean, everything that we do, right, is happening in a building or in the spaces between buildings. So whether it's you're going to your house or you're going to work or you're going to that park, which is conveniently located between a couple other buildings, or you're going to the grocery store. I mean, every aspect of your life is happening in a building or like near a building. So it's important because it shapes just everyday life for everybody. So yeah, I would say that, and you're aware. I think you're aware of it. Some people are aware of it more overtly. Other people are aware of it from like I don't like this area, or like, ooh, this makes me feel weird, you know, or I'm so lost, I'm confused. Where do I go? You know, all those things are answered, or like somebody designed that. You know, they've curated your experience of that space. Right. So architecture definitely matters. And I think people agree with that, even if they might not have thought about it that way. So
I work at the Mercer Museum, and it's funny that you mentioned like the structures and the importance of it, and that an architect like made it that way. Yeah. So Henry Mercer wasn't a trained architect. Terrible architecture. But he's like definitely an amateur. But everything that he, like, specific rooms were made to house certain tools, and everything that he has made was in order to give the guests a different perspective. So it's kind of neat that you mentioned previously with your statement of like it was architectures made like these buildings in a specific way, and it changes your perception or perspective of the building or the atmosphere.
Well, I mean, it's really every aspect of life, and not just with the built environment. You know, when you think of that, I don't know, that jug on the ground, you know, I mean, somebody designed that, you know, it's like every aspect of anything that you touch, experience, even the sidewalk and the way the lawn is there or not there. All of that is designed. You know, somebody thought about it, somebody put it down. And I'm not talking about like, oh, somebody's like with pen and paper necessarily like stressing over it, but a decision had to be made. Hey, Bob, what do we want to do with this piece of the road here? I don't know, just fill it with some earth and whatever, call it a day. It's like, I mean, that was a conversation, no matter how small or long that was had to kind of get us to what we see before us. So I think it's wild when you really kind of get into it. I do this, it's like for fun. Stuff I don't like, stuff I do like. I think it's easy to do with the extremes. You can kind of say like, oh, well, I really like this thing. And I don't know, for me, you know, I don't really realize that, somebody curated that. Somebody's thinking and designed it that way so you can have that reaction or that experience to that thing. Right. Or it works in the reverse. It's a bad design. It's bad. It's like, this is ugly, or this is just not making me feel good. It's like that's what people made decisions. And it ended horribly, you know. One other really quick thing I want to throw out there too, because I feel like there's so many overlaps with filmmaking and architecture.
Okay.
Growing up, I said already, I was like a huge Star Wars nerd. I loved watching the documentaries that would come with like the DVD or the VHS about how they made Star Wars and all that stuff. So for the Revenge of the Sith, I remember they were kind of describing the end, Mustafar, all that stuff. And one of the statements that kind of like caught to stay with me was, I forget who it was, but it was a woman. She had said, you know, so much work went into these scenes that you won't see. Like you're watching this movie, you're not going to see this little piece of detail, whatever. But it's just like you'll know it's when it's not there, because if it wasn't there, you'd notice. But the fact that it is there and you don't notice, that means we did our job right. Like we did something correct. And I was just sitting there being like, that's actually really amazing from a design standpoint. You know, you're making, it's not just about you're curating what people see, but you're also curating the things that people will miss, or the little details that people maybe breeze over, but would notice if it isn't there. So I don't know.
Like, I think the guy that designed the
sure.
He was on Joe Rogan.
Yeah. That's 100%. Another example of that. And I just think like that, and again, you're watching and you're just like, oh, whatever. It's just graffiti, or it's just it's part of the world. It's like, right, exactly. Somebody made that. So you believe that world really exists. That's a real thing. And so, as architects, we do the same, or we don't do the same, and people kind of have a relationship to both. So
something I noticed is like you have so much passion in that field. So like, what first drew you in architecture, and how has your understanding of its purpose evolved throughout your career?
For sure. Well, I mean, it's kind of a long story, so I'm gonna try to see if I can like edit in real time and tell you the highlights. But all right. I was really always obsessed with like models. So scale models, particularly model trains. I told you I love my childhood. So growing up, I was watching Thomas the Tank Engine. All right. I love that show. I love the model world. I think it's still going on, if I'm not mistaken, today. But like, I feel like they gutted the essence of what made the show interesting. It's like you made a model world, model trains, and you made that come to life. It's a totally different thing if you're going to do like animated stuff. It's not the same thing. But anyway, that kind of got me into it. I wanted to kind of build my own world, but model stuff is expensive, and I didn't grow up with a lot of money. So very quickly, I was like turning cardboard boxes into buildings, and my mom got me a train set. And so I was like trying to build on the train set with these model buildings and stuff. And dude, I made I made a civilization. Like I was like, I made a country, I had a constitution, it was wild. But what got me into it is just like trying to build buildings, and you start to notice, okay, I want to make this look real. Okay, so you go outside and you see, okay, oh, I noticed buildings, they have the windows, they do this.
Right.
Let me try to recreate that. And then you start being like, oh, I've noticed that windows are like this, but like, this is why those windows are right there, like this. And so you start to kind of play that game, and you get better because it's like you're adding more detail, but you're not just kind of scribbling stuff. It's like, real. I guess what was it reminded you last?
How does it evolve throughout your career?
Yeah. I mean, I think there's I went to college, and then got a master's in architecture, and you're like, oh, I'm gonna save the world, I'm gonna change everybody, and we're gonna be great. You kind of realize like, all right, I know the limits of like architecture. Obviously, you really, I'm not trying to be like black pilled, but it's like, knowing what you can do and what you can't do.
Right.
Going into my program, I was very much like, no, like the building will change your life, right? So you build a building, how it's designed, how you move through the space, that'll totally change. If you're, dealing drugs and gang banging, you're going to be like, all right, I'm going to stop. It's like, okay, I'm being real. Like I was kind of thinking about architecture in that way.
Okay.
And after kind of just like life experiences and working, you kind of realize like it's a lot more layered than that. But by the way, it's like I'm not the only person who thought like that.
Right.
Le Corbusier is another architect who thought that way. I mean, he wrote a book, his manifesto called Towards a New Architecture. And one of the lines in that book, it's like we either have architecture or revolution. And he had a whole way of thinking. He's like, architecture, buildings or machines for living.
Right.
It was in the 20s. It was a very specific time where people were like really experimental with, they obsessed over machines and, everything was going to revolve around cars and it's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
So anyway, I'm just saying all that to say, like, okay, I'm not that crazy in thinking that way, but for sure, I think that part of it has definitely changed after working.
All right. So do you think modern cities are designed in ways to encourage stronger communities, or are they contributing in isolation to social fragmentations?
They're doing both right now, and I'm saying that not to cop out, but I don't want to like completely throw away real work that real people